Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So, I don't know if you know this, but if you followed me on Twitter or if you've been in the Discord through Patreon, then you would know that I'm kind of a big fan of Nanami Kento from Jujutsu Kaisen. He's kind of my favorite character in that show. No spoilers, please. But I really love his character, and one of the things I love about his character, of course, he's the adult of adults in Jujutsu Kaisen, but also he's voiced by Kenjiro Tsuda. And Kenjiro Tsuda's voice is like silk. It's so good. He also voices Captain Mikashiba from Free, and so I've really come to like that voice actor from watching both Free and Jujutsu Kaisen. And so when I heard that Way of the Househusband was coming to Netflix, I saw a little bit of a preview of the manga, just enough to see what it was about, and I was instantly like, yes, I need to watch this. For a lot of reasons. One, it deals with the Yakuza. I have a fascination with Yakuza. It's why I love twittering birds. It's why I like fruits baskets, because there's ties to things. I like it a lot. I'm very interested in the culture and understanding kind of the way that it's formed and is represented in Japanese culture, especially in anime. So that was one reason. Second, it looked hilarious. And third, the main character is voiced by Kenjiro Tsuda, and also in the live action ad that they had, Kenjiro Tsuda played him. And for the record, Kenjiro Tsuda is not only a good voice actor, but a good actor as well. So I've been excited for this show. I've heard it has had a lot of flack I haven't watched any of it, but I saw the preview, and a lot of people were giving it flack because the animation style seemed very stilted and maybe very stiff. But then I read an article through Twitter that the mangaka had said that was intentional, that the idea was it's supposed to read like a comic strip. It's supposed to be done in a certain way. And I know that aesthetically, animation-wise, it's going to turn a lot of people off, especially when a mangaka takes a very specific route with their animation. So I know a lot of people are probably going to get turned off by the series because of that, because you're used to Mappa and Bones and IG and these other studios doing these incredible, Kyoani doing these incredible animation works where things are so fluid that going back to kind of a bare bones formula may probably seem really bad. But you know what? The bits of the manga that I saw were hilarious, and the preview looked funny, so I'm going to give it a shot. It's only 5 episodes. That's why I decided to do this in one go-round. I originally was going to do like a week-to-week, but then I saw that the episodes are only like 16 to 17 minutes, and there's only 5 of them for this series, so I thought, let's just do it in one go-round. Let's do a Way of the Househusband marathon. It has been a long work week, and I need this. Also, it's National Horny Day, so this is the most PG way I can find to celebrate it, so there's that. But in any case, so yeah, very much like I've done Take Your Marks with Free, I'm going to watch all 5 parts. I'll probably react a little bit or talk a little bit and review about them in between, but I'll probably save most of my review for the end. But yeah, so I know nobody requested this, but this is just something I wanted to watch. And anymore, if it's anime and I want to watch it, I might as well record myself watching it, because why not? So I hope you enjoy this. I have no clue what this is going to be like. I'm pretty excited though. So with that in mind, we are going to start Way of the Househusband, episode 1, here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. I didn't see so in the preview they showed the 2 bosses with the dogs meeting, but they don't show that in here. I've been told that there's a part 2 of this, like a season 2, even though this season was only 5 episodes. I've been told that there's a season 2 coming out, so maybe that's where all that is, because we got the preview of the dog with the boss of the Yakuza group. That was hilarious. Oh my gosh, okay. So I really kind of want to read the manga now and see it all in manga form. Okay. This is a very, very divisive show. because one, it's hilarious. Like, that was really, really funny. Like, the idea of the music, the sting, the subverting, whenever you see, like, Yakuza, you think, oh, it's really scary. And he is really scary and intimidating. And then he's just, like, so dedicated to, okay, this is a very divisive show, and I can see how a lot of people would really like it, and a lot of people will not like it. And I can understand both fronts. I like it. I thought that was hilarious. That was Kenjiro Suda. His voice is perfect for this character. Absolutely perfect. The idea of him being Tatsu, the immortal dragon, this Yakuza man who gave it all up for some reason. Tori, the boss woman's husband, tries to find out. The Tori group matriarch tries to find out, but he doesn't exactly say it. But he quit being a Yakuza to be a house husband to Miku. For the record, his love of Miku is precious. I love that he's so dedicated to her. I hope that if we do get a season 2 of this, that we find out why. Why is he dedicated to her? How did they... Because she says that he's changed a lot since they met. So he clearly met her while he was in the Yakuza. So, and obviously he fell in love with her and left the Yakuza for her. And she's a career woman, so he's doing the house husband thing. So I'm assuming that when we have part 2, that will get explained more, which will be interesting. But I love his dedication to Miku. The use of music and lighting and the sting and the dramatic over the top, like the Santa Claus bit. Oh my god. And Masa being like the underling that's just like trying to learn the ways. And the Instagram photos of him and the other former Yakuza boss, and they're like trying to see who gets more Instagram likes, and it's like just one for Masa. That was, it's so good. So on that front, on it being hilarious and the story being pretty funny, I'm all for it. Does it get a little bit repetitive? Perhaps. Towards the very end there, perhaps it gets a little bit. I think it's because I watched it all at once. I like marathoned the whole thing, and I don't usually binge watch anime. I'm usually like on a week-to-week format, so you get that time for everything to sink in. But because they were short episodes, I just marathoned the whole thing, which I've wanted to watch it for a while. So I've been, like, ever since it came out, like it came out on April 8th, and I've been waiting to watch it, and I was like, I just want to watch it. And so that could be why. But as far as the art style goes, I think that's really what is going to either you're going to be okay with it and you're going to look past it, or it's going to be a distraction and it's not going to work. And I see both fronts. Like, if I hadn't read the mangaka's note that that's how they wanted it, then it would have been a little bit, it wasn't overtly distracting, but there were, like, some of it adds to the comedy, like the whole legs thing. At first, when the one Yakuza guy in the purple, when his legs were shaking, like, the animation was not good. But then later on, when you realize that that's part of the gag, that he wants to get his legs strengthened, then it makes the animation funny, because you're like, oh, that's part of the gag, is that's the body humor, that his legs tremble, and then he tries to work out to make that not happen, and it fails anyway. So I get why the mangaka does not want it to be a regular traditional animation, that they want this comic strip-like format. I get why they're doing that now, and there are parts of this series that lends to the comedy, but I can also see where some of the, like, line work and stuff is a little bit more simplistic, that if you're used to watching anime, like, if you're used to watching Jujutsu Kaisen and stuff by Mappa and Bones and IG, then of course this is going to look a lot less refined than that. But I think with what the whole, because this is a comedy, it's meant to be a comedy, I think with that in mind, some of the line work and some of the animation choices, they lend to the joke. Like, that's part of the joke. Now, in some places it works really well. In other places I'm like, oh, I could see that if it was a traditional anime and it was more fluid, it may work better. But I'm not going to complain about it, because if that's the author's intention, then I can look past it for the humor and the story, but I can see where a lot of people will not. They'll be like, oh no, this looks bad, I don't want to watch it. And that's their prerogative. I mean, that's totally up to you. I lived through the 90s when we had Reboot. If any of y'all grew up in the 90s and there was that CGI monstrosity Reboot, great story, great characters, the animation's awful. Which it tried. You know, for 1996, it tried. But I guess my age, I'm seasoned to bad animation and to like more clunky animation that if the story and characters are good, I can kind of look past it because I can see what the intent is. But I can see where a lot of people are going to be like, no. And I can see towards the end of, like, around the end of episode 5, some of the comedic timing was getting a little bit repetitive. But at the same time, there was also, the plot was starting to kick in. Like, the old boss coming in and not telling Tatsu, being like, oh, well, someone higher up wants to recruit him back. But this is where he belongs, so I'm not going to push it. And it's like, oh, we're setting stuff up. And the Tori, the matriarch, like, she's in on some of the things. And then there's you're getting these little characters, bits and bits being brought up that I'm assuming are going to be reoccurring in what plot we have. Which it's all just done for comedy. But I love the premise of this show. The idea of this scary looking man becoming a house husband. And I like that he keeps saying being a house husband is no joke. Like, it's serious. And I like that perspective. I really do, because I think, I don't know about Japanese culture, but in Western culture, there are, and I don't have children. I'm not a housewife by any means, but I have friends that are, and there is kind of a stigma against women that choose to be housewives, that choose to stay at home. And I'm good either way. Like, if you want to go after a job and be the career woman like Miku, cool. If you're going to stay at home and have a family and stuff, cool. You got to do you, right? And so I appreciate that this show doesn't shy away from the fact that it's a lot of work. And the idea that Tatsu realizes this, I really appreciate that. Like, it's kind of cool. Like, whatever you decide to do in life, there's going to be challenges and difficulties to it. And so it's kind of neat this show sort of celebrates both him and Miku's career and him. It's a neat subversion of the trope, because usually in the Western trope, it's handled differently. So I appreciate that. I like that it's showing that he's got his own trials and tribulations, which are compounded by the fact that he's a former Yakuza. And I like when she's like, there's just something about you. Like, you just look kind of intimidating. And it's like, no, he just looks intimidating because he has all these scars and tattoos. The clothes aren't going to help. But, I'm glad I finally got to watch that. I'm glad I finally got to see it. It felt too short. Like, I binged all 5 episodes. I never binge anime anymore, guys. So that went by too quickly. But I've heard there's a season 2, which I would hope so, because I don't know why they didn't just wait and do it all in one season, but I guess they just wanted to get this out and then work on the next and see what the reception was. But I really hope, if anything, if people don't like the anime or don't like this, I really hope it encourages people to go and read the manga. Because some of the stills I saw before watching this were of Tatsu, like, we see that in the opening where he has the big giant, muscles, and he's got the bodies, like the Sukuna pile of bodies under him. And like the drawing in the manga is beautiful. And so part of me wonders too if this is kind of a strategy with mangaka of saying, well, you could read the manga too, and seeing the art form kind of elevated in that sense. Because the illustrations are beautiful in the manga. So I encourage you, if you've not seen it, go and check that out too. I'm definitely going to go back and read it to see where we end up at, because I think this is an ongoing series. But I'm assuming that each episode within the episodes were chapters, because we got to like episode 30 by the end of this, so it seemed like a chapter. Maybe chapter 30 is where we ended up, and they just did animation for each chapter and fit like 6 in an episode. I think that's what they ended up doing. God, that cat thing where it was pooping in the yard, that one. I'm not a big body humor in that sort of vein, so I was just like, I was the black cat. I was definitely with the black cat throughout the whole episode. I was like, I'm with the black cat, get in that litter box. Nagin. Ain't having it. Although the cockroach, Miku's smacking him in the face instead of hitting him on the chest for the cockroach. That's pretty hilarious. And we saw he had some bandages around his abdomen, so I'm wondering if he was injured maybe as a Yakuza, and maybe that's when him and Miku met. I don't know, guys. But I definitely want to put down to go back and read the manga for this, and hopefully they do a season 2, because I would like to watch it. The humor in this was was just wonderful and doing these everyday simple things, but the fact that he's a reformed Yakuza and it's so over the top and zany, it was really funny. I enjoyed that. So I can overlook the animation for it being funny, and maybe it's just because I'm simping for Kenjiro Suda, but yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a good capstone to the week. So I hope y'all enjoyed that reaction too. Please feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you guys think too. I mean, I'm curious to know what other people think, if the animation is enough, if the animation isn't enough to distract, if you can overlook it, or if you were like, no, if it just wasn't working. So I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts and what you all think. If you've read the manga, let me know what you think about that, if they've left anything out. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. This was just I've had this on my radar for like the last month, and I was like, if it comes out, I'll see how many episodes there are, and maybe I'll react to it week to week. Maybe I'll just, watch it on my own time and then tell you all about it via Soapbox. But then when I saw it was only 5 episodes, I thought, oh, well, it's 5 episodes. We can do this. So I hope you all enjoyed it, but thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to comment down below. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll talk to you all again soon with more reactions. Bye.